The day my son pushed me into the abyss. My name is Amina Okoro. I am 62 years old, a retired primary school teacher from the quiet town of Enugu in eastern Nigeria. What I am about to tell you will shatter the image you have of family, of blood ties, of the love a mother carries in her heart like a sacred flame. 3 days ago, my only surviving son, Chukwuma, and his wife Ngozi pushed me and my husband Emeka off a steep escarpment in the misty hills of Awhum. As I lay broken among the jagged rocks, blood filling my mouth, I heard Emeka's faint whisper, "Amina, don't move. Play dead." But that was not the worst part. The worst part was learning the secret my son had buried for 27 years, the truth about how my firstborn, Kelechi, really died. For over 4 decades, Emeka and I built what we believed was a blessed home. Our modest bungalow on Ugwaji Road smelled of palm oil stew in the mornings and fresh gari in the evenings. I taught little ones how to read and write at the community school, while Emeka ran his small carpentry workshop behind the house, crafting sturdy tables, chairs, and wedding beds that families treasured for generations. We had 2 sons. Kelechi, the elder, was our joy, loud, generous, always helping his father sand wood, always bringing me wild hibiscus flowers from the bush. Chukwuma, 5 years younger, was quieter, more watchful. As a mother, I loved them equally, or so I told myself. Sundays were sacred. After church at St. Mary's, we gathered around the wooden table Emeka carved with our family name. Kelechi talked of becoming an engineer, of building bridges across the Niger. Chukwuma picked at his food in silence. Life felt full. In the evenings, Emeka and I strolled along the quiet paths near the hills, dreaming of retirement, of seeing the ocean in Lagos, of holding grandchildren on our laps. I never imagined those peaceful walks were preparation for the one that nearly ended us. The first crack appeared 27 years ago, when Kelechi was 23. He began arguing with Chukwuma in hushed tones I couldn't catch. Emeka said it was brother matter, that it would pass. I wanted to believe him. Then came the night Kelechi never returned. We waited until midnight, then 1, then dawn. Chukwuma stayed in his room, claiming he was reading. Emeka and neighbors searched the town, the river paths, the hills. At first light, they found Kelechi's body at the bottom of the old quarry escarpment, broken, lifeless. The police called it an accident. He slipped in the dark while walking home. I never questioned it. How could I? The thought that one son could harm the other was unthinkable. At the funeral, I wore my black lace wrapper, the same one from my mother's burial. Chukwuma stood calm, almost composed. While I wept until my eyes burned, he offered quiet comfort, helping with chores, bringing me water, accompanying Emeka to the workshop. I thought grief had softened him. How blind I was. Years passed, the wound scarred over. Chukwuma married Ngozi, a polite girl from Nsukka. They had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, who called me Neneoma and filled our home with laughter again. Chukwuma took over the carpentry business, and everything seemed restored. 6 months ago, we decided to update our will. Our savings, the house, the small plot of land my father left me, all together nearly 80 million naira, about $200,000 back then, needed proper planning. Chukwuma suggested it himself. "Mama, Papa, you are not getting younger. Let us help you arrange everything properly," he said with a warm smile. Ngozi nodded, rubbing my hand. "We love you so much. We want to make sure you are protected." We visited the lawyer, Mr. Eze, an old friend. Chukwuma insisted he and Ngozi be named sole executors to manage the inheritance for the grandchildren. When you need care in old age, we can handle the money without delay, he explained. I felt a chill, but Emeka, ever trusting, agreed. We signed. After that, the visits increased, but they were different. No more casual laughter, always questions about money, suggestions to sell the house, to move to a flat in town, to buy expensive insurance. Mama, this big house is too much for 2 old people, Ngozi said, eyeing our furniture like a market appraiser. What if you fall? We won't reach you in time. When I refused, Chukwuma's eyes flashed with something cold. You are being stubborn, Mama. It's for your own good. One night, after another tense discussion, I asked Emeka, don't you find it strange how suddenly interested he is in our money? Emeka looked away. He cares, Amina. But I saw doubt in his eyes. And then, late one evening, he sat me down at our kitchen table and spoke the words that broke my world. There are things about Kelechi's death I never told you. My heart pounded. Emeka's voice trembled. That night, Chukwuma wasn't in his room. I saw him leave the house. I followed because he had been angry, resentful. I found them at the quarry edge, screaming. Kelechi had discovered Chukwuma stealing from our family savings for years, small amounts at first, then larger. Kelechi had proof. He threatened to expose him. Emeka's tears fell. I heard Chukwuma shout that Kelechi was always the favorite, that it was time things changed. Then he pushed him, deliberately. I saw it. I couldn't breathe. And you kept quiet? He was my son, Emeka whispered. He cried, begged, said it was an accident. I couldn't destroy the only child left. I thought he would change, but he never repaid the money. He kept taking, and I kept silent. I became his accomplice. The betrayal doubled. First, my son, then my husband. We knew then. The mountain trip Chukwuma proposed for our 42nd wedding anniversary was no celebration, it was execution. Here is the place they chose, a dramatic escarpment overlook in the misty hills where the drop is sheer and unforgiving. We went anyway. Emeka hid his phone to record. We pretended normalcy. The climb was exhausting. Ngozi took photos, smiling sweetly. For memories, she said. Near the edge, she positioned us for one last perfect shot. Chukwuma stepped behind. Smile, Ngozi said. Then the push. Emeka grabbed Chukwuma's arm in the last second. If we fall, you fall too. We tumbled together, 4 bodies locked in terror, crashing onto the rocks below. Pain exploded through me, broken ribs, shattered arm, blood everywhere. But Emeka's whisper saved us. Play dead. Chukwuma and Ngozi survived, injured but mobile. They crawled away, plotting their story. A rock loosened, Papa slipped. We tried to save them. They called for help. Rescuers came, we were airlifted, still pretending unconsciousness. In the hospital, Chukwuma whispered near my ear, "You should have left the money alone, Mama. Some truths should stay buried, like Kelechi." A nurse heard. She noticed my faint finger movements. Police were called. The phone recording captured everything. The plan, the confessions, the gloating. Chukwuma and Ngozi were arrested in the waiting room, screaming denials that quickly turned to blaming each other. They are now serving life sentences. Today, Emeka and I are raising our grandchildren. Every night I tell them about Uncle Kelechi, the kind, laughing brother they never met. Evil can live in a family, but so can healing. We survived the abyss, and in the end, truth pushed harder than any son ever could. Here are some visual moments from this true-life nightmare turned miracle. Here is the kind of misty escarpment in Nigeria's hills where it all happened. Beautiful, deadly, unforgiving. This is how our family looked in happier days. Warm, united, full of dreams. And this is the terrifying reality of survival at the bottom. Broken, bleeding, but alive. Another story continues with truth, with the children, with second chances.